Here we are with writer, producer, director Mark Jones of Leprechaun fame on the way to Mann's Chinese Theater in Hollywood for a screening on original 35mm print of the movie Leprechaun, after which Mr. Jones will be taking questions from the audience.
Well, or audience. One.
Audience?
The one audience member is what will be asking the question, and that's going to be my friend. So, this is so cute. So Sean's going to put a little video together.
Yeah, are you looking forward to tonight?
Not particularly. I got to go to Hollywood on a Saturday night, which is the last thing I ever want to do.
Nice. All right. We'll check back with you in a little while, Mr. Jones.
Okay.
Mark Jones of Leprechaun fame makes his way through the throngs of the Hollywood crowd. Are you excited?
No, I want to get this over with and go back to Woodland Hills to my house. Maybe I can get a drink.
Entering the theater.
Cool.
Is that's seriously a Leprechaun comic book?
Yep.
Wow.
And you can sign that one too, please? Sure. Issue 2.
Wow.
Issue 3.
How'd you know it was him?
I recognize him when he walked in. I know he doesn't have the long hair like he did when he was filming back then.
Right on.
But thank you so much.
Pleased to meet you.
Awesome to meet you. Wow. Thank you so much.
You got it.
I'm sorry, what was that you said when we asked if there were any tickets left?
Leprechaun is sold out, I'm sorry.
Oh, sold out.
We're going to put a little, boy, you guys are bringing back memories.
We also, you guys join the Shot of Golds and Leprechauns at the bar.
All right, we'll see over there. This will be great.
This is pretty awesome. Mark's been getting hit for autographs since the moment we walked in. We just knew who he was.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is Mark's premiere is completely sold out. The bad news is Chris and I have nowhere to sit right now. So we may not be getting into the premiere.
But we're not going to get into it.
I don't think anybody's going to no-show today.
I don't either.
I mean, Hollywood... Oh, damn it. We're rolling.
Okay, it's 2018 and Leprechaun opened in 1993. And I never thought I would be back in a theater 25 years after the first screening of Leprechaun, watching it again, still without a girlfriend. You know, I love this poster, and I feel like I'm damaging it. What's your name?
Jessica. I just did a video of them.
Did you?
Yeah. Thanks.
You went to Brandon. D-O-N. Jordan, J-O-R-D.
Was that another autograph?
No, I'm a little bit embarrassed.
Why?
Because I don't usually, I'm behind the scenes, I do a movie. In front is, no, listen, I love it because the fans are the ones that made it popular, but it does amaze me. It amazes me
feel that you're so down to earth and humble because a lot of people are not?
Well,
You're just loving this right now, right?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out to the Screamfest special St. Patrick's Day 25th anniversary screening of Leprechaun! The original Leprechaun, the film that started it all. I will be asking trivia and stuff about the series and the movie after the movie, so know your Leprechaun trivia. My name is Brian Collins. I write for a site called Birth Movies Death. And we've been doing these screenings about every month. I love doing them. I love seeing you guys coming out. How many people are seeing Leprechaun for the first time tonight? Whoa! You guys are in for a treat. We have the director of the film with us tonight, and he's going to come out and say a couple words now, but please stick around after the movie. In addition to the trivia, we're going to do a Q&A with him and one of the actors from the film. I'm going to read a limerick, apparently. We have the winner of the scavenger. Who did the scavenger hunt? Yes. Who thinks they won the scavenger hunt? All right. Well, we'll find out all that after the movie, so please stick in your seats after. But if we can have Mark come over and say a few words, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Jones.
Thank you. I beat him up. I said, make sure the microphone works. I still can't get directing out. I wrote and directed it, by the way, so I created it. I had to get that in for George, one of my guys. Anyway, 25 years ago, I went to a movie theater and watched Leprechaun. Went to a few of them when it opened up. And there's no way I thought 25 years later I'd still be in a movie theater watching Leprechaun. Still without a girlfriend, by the way. Anyway, I love that I actually love that some people have not seen it, and I really appreciate people who've seen it and are actually willing to sit through it again. We had a lot of fun, didn't take ourselves seriously, and it was Jennifer Aniston's first movie with her friends, and the studio did not want to use her, and I just want to go on record saying I insisted, and the rest is history. Okay.
Let me so shall dwell, till I find me magic that breaks me spell.
Take somebody's hat. All right, now let's get the Q&A started, guys. Give it up. We have writer-director Mark Jones. And is John still with us? Oh, there he is, John. John's here. Yeah. Mark, you wrote the movie. So talk about, what were the origins of this? What was your what was the inspiration for Leprechaun?
First of all, I just want to apologize. I've gotten better since that movie. So I just want to get that right up front so there's no misunderstanding. No, it was great. It was fun. Lucky Charms commercials. That's true. I was at El Torito, and I was having a drink, and I said, you know, they've done Halloween and they've done Friday the 13th, and just about no one's done St. Patty's Day. And Leprechaun is supposed to be friendly and nice, but what if you steal his gold and he's evil? And so I actually came up with it based on the commercials. Not enough where General Mills will sue me.
On that note, if the IMDb is to believe, which it never should be, the real Lucky Charms was supposed to be in the movie, but you had a fake one. Can you tell the story about that?
I have the story. Okay. I was there. So no matter what you hear. The story I saw, and I saw it on IMDb, was that we had shot with Lucky Charms, and General Mills saw the movie and said, oh, we hate it, and we don't want you to use it, so we had to go reshoot. I don't know where that came up. Simply, it was scripted as Lucky Charms cereal, and when we went down to production, the production designer said, oh, you know, by the way, we can't really use Lucky Charms because we have to then get the rights from General Mills and all this and that. And I said, okay, let's make it look like, you know, Lucky Charms. So they did Lucky Clovers, and they did a similar thing, and so we don't run into their copyright. And I said, and the audience will get the joke. And that's what we did. We shot it once, it was in there. So that is not true. And I'm dispelling that rumor, and yet I still see it on IMDb, and it amazes me.
Because the IMDb is usually just so accurate about everything. Man. It's
Yeah. Well, you know, I was 10 years old when I shot this movie in '93. So.
John, you did most of your scenes with Miss Aniston. Talk about working with her. I mean, did you know she'd go on for this to be in the top sitcom of all time?
Wow, how would you know that?
I'm the director. You got.
God, oh. No, you know what? She was a doll. The whole time I was on the set, it was just fun. It was good. It was because it came from the top down. You know what I mean? He was having a good time. We all had a good time. She was just a sweetheart. I think she still is a sweetheart. Yeah. They don't get much better. Really.
I missed the I think they shot it off. The shooting location. Where did you guys actually shoot this?
We shot it in Simi Valley in a place called Big Sky Ranch, which was Little House on the Prairie. They shot Little House on the Prairie. Some of the farmhouse and we used was in Little House on the Prairie. I don't know, it wasn't their main house, but it was one of their houses. So, and it was unbelievably cold. I don't know when she was looking for the four-leaf clover, there was wind burning, and it was horribly cold. So people had to bundle up, and then Jennifer, who never forgave me for putting her in those shorts, she had to run out there and and freeze between scenes.
We forget.
She hasn't.
The makeup. Gabe Mortalis did the makeup for the Leprechaun. Did you
Yes.
work on the design with him? Or did you do it all on his own, or?
No, I did. As a matter of fact, when Gabe came in, he had a bunch of drawings, and we worked carefully with the drawings, and we got the one that I liked, and I said, let's do that. And he did a little clay mold, and we kind of said, that's it. And then we had to sell it to Trimark, the studio, which they didn't like anything, because studios never like anything the creators come up with. But we ended up getting it through. So that was Gabe. Gabe is, was the genius who made it work, but we worked together on it.
John, were you disappointed that you got hurt so easily and you didn't get to run around and all this? And were you happy?
You know what? I was set up. I was set up. I mean, oh my gosh. And she turns and looks at this young, beautiful guy, and that's it. I'm done. I'm out. Just get the old man out of the way. I love some of the looks I got, though, when he was talking about, what the heck was he talking about? So anyway, with her, yeah. Oh, unbelievable. I know. Daughters don't love their daddies too much, huh? No. My daughter is here tonight. She's right there. She's waiting. She saw this briefly when she was 8 years old. She came into the room. She got terrified and ran out. So this is the first time in 25 years sitting with her daddy. Thank you.
Very beautiful daughter, so it runs in the family.
And when we did this, he had hair. Yeah.
You can find it on the internet. So behind the scenes, yes. I had the Gallagher hair. I put baseball cap and nothing else.
What was the incentive to shoot to take place in North Dakota if the movie shot around here?
It literally, when I wrote the script, it was just, I said North Dakota. I figured some desolate place, and it just came out of my mind. Probably with some alcohol in my system. It's funny, I watched the movie and I want to re-edit everything. And it's funny because I look at it and I see things and then I hear the audience reaction and I said, I went to theaters when it opened in '93 and it's amazing the reactions were very similar, the same places, the same chuckles, and I just thought that's kind of interesting. So humans don't change, I guess.
What about you, John? What was the last time you had actually seen the whole movie?
25 years ago.
He wouldn't look at it again. I watch it constantly. Matter of fact, I sit at home with a glass of wine and I just run all the Leprechauns. All the time. The only thing I have left in my life. Now, we have a new franchise coming out, but I'll say that. Well, it was supposed to be shot about a year ago. I said, well, you know, Leprechaun was popular, but Lionsgate owns it now. Originally it was Trimark. Lionsgate bought it. And they send me some money, but I never think they send me enough. So I said, let's come up with a new franchise, which if you had a vampire bat bite a leprechaun, he would become a little vamprecon. And if you Google Vamprecon, there was a whole lawsuit because we were ready to go into production. We had funding, and some guy claimed that he was involved in it, and so we had to sue him. And while it went through the court case that we won, the money got on hold. But it's back around again. So we're actually going to do a whole new Vamprecon, and Warwick Davis may be in it. So. He was very mad about Leprechaun Origins, and we talked on the phone, and I said, Warwick, you were what made it work. Look, it was never to be taken serious. It was fun. It was, you know, it was kind of corny, but it was it. And I said they're trying to do a real straight Leprechaun called Leprechaun Origins and call it, you know, a sequel or part of the Leprechaun. Which I have to say it is because I get money for that. If it's not part of it, I don't get money. But I said, you should have been in it. People love it because of you and the comedy and this stuff. They made it a straight ahead horror. I'm curious, how many people have seen Leprechaun Origins? Yeah. And did you find it compared to the Leprechauns, or was it a completely different movie? Yeah. And I don't think it did well.
Terrible.
You're getting this on video, right, George? Because this is part of the court case. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yes. I forgot where I was. I've had 2 drinks. So forgive me.
I was down there for one of them.
Yeah. What's that? No. Well, we're working on it. We have another one that's coming out. You know, we get. It's amazing that Leprechaun keeps going, and I figured I got to come up with a couple of more. So. We've got another one. I'll tell you what that was. There's also special thanks for George Lucas. Dan Quayle it was 93. He wasn't our VP, was he, or was he?
No, he was gone.
He was gone, but Warwick needed to come from England and get an immediate visa or something, and somebody in the company, somebody in our group knew Dan Quayle, or knew somebody who knew him, and Dan Quayle made a phone call because he had been the VP and got him expedited and got Warwick in here because they really were saying he can't come in for 3 months, and we were ready to shoot. So he did that, and George Lucas got a thank you because he was under contract because of Willow to George Lucas, and George Lucas had to release him to do this picture. So the way he released it, we told him I wasn't involved, and George Lucas says, "Okay, you can do it." so there's some other thank yous, but
That was the one that stuck out. You don't
yeah.
see Dan Quayle.
No, and but that was the reason. He expedited Warwick. We wouldn't have had Warwick without Dan Quayle.
All right, thanks, Dan. We got some questions for you guys here. Yes.
Good evening. First of all, John, I want to wish you a happy belated birthday.
Yeah, John.
I want to wish you a happy 35th anniversary of Firestarter, because I know that's coming up next year.
Wow.
And hopefully your daughter has forgiven Drew Barrymore for making a crispy career out of you. I don't think she's ever giving as much trouble as Mark Paul Gosselaar did on Saved by the Bell.
You've been around.
You know, these audiences know everything.
How many productions of 12 Angry Men have you appeared in on or off Broadway, and what juror or jurors have you played in each? Because I always thought you'd be very well suited for that.
That's very nice. Never done it, but I'm not dead yet. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. You know, one of the things that I like so much about this movie, again, I hadn't seen it for 25 years. I love the humor. I mean, it was goofy, corny, but in the next cut was, you're dead. He's a genius. The man's a genius.
Trimark would take full credit. Actually, I wanted to bring up something. I had a lot more comedy in it, and they kept telling me I need to cut out the comedy scenes. And there was a scene, if you remember, when you got bit, and they rushed you in, and you might have remembered it, because I think we shot it the day you were there, because you were working that day. You got taken away in the pickup truck, and they ran out, and we cut to the ground, and all of a sudden, Warwick pops up with tire tracks down his body. And then he runs in and takes the tricycle, and Trimark said, you gotta cut it out, you gotta cut it out. And I said, but I think that's what's fun about it. I said, you'll have him on a tricycle, but you think that tire treads are too corny or too comical. So there was a lot of comedy cut down, and there was, name will not go mentioned, there's one person at Trimark that I think, a post-production guy who claims that he made the movie funny, and he did just the opposite. He was going in and saying, we need to do this and do that, and I didn't have as much power. I mean, it was my cut, it was my movie, but I had to listen to the powers that be, and when they said take it out, I said, okay, I'll have to take it out. So there was a lot more comedy. There was also, he's driving in the car, and with the cop, which is not in it, it's just the cop's already in the car and it's not moving, and he was eating donuts and put the cop's hat on it. So I had a lot more comedy in it. But it's all going to be in Vampircon, because anything I don't shoot, I just put it to my next script.
More for you guys, huh? Oh, it is, sir. So, 25 years later, what are these characters doing?
You know, I knew you were going to ask that question. Well, let's see. Jennifer's a big star on a sitcom. You know what? Honestly, as a writer, I write for the moment, and I don't think where they're going to go. Though, when we got a sequel, I actually wanted to use the original cast. My idea for the sequel was that we would have we'd have Leprechaun. We'd show a new Leprechaun coming in, and the camera would pan up, and she'd have a female voice, and she'd go, "Where's my husband? Where's my husband?" And it was going to be a female Leprechaun, which no one's ever talked about or seen, and it was going to be played by Warwick in drag. And he loved it, and he was going to be the wife that resurrects him, and then they were going to go out, and it was going to stay on the farm and stuff like that. And of course, the studio, as their wisdom, because they're geniuses, and they said, no, we're going to do Leprechaun 2, and we're going to do, as you know, what Leprechaun 2 was, Hollywood and the thing, and the race car. So that was good. So I was going to actually continue with the characters and actually bring Ozzy back and Robert Gorman and the thing, and maybe someday we'll do number 8 or 9, and we'll go back and do that and do that. So if we get a loud enough applause and we put it on camera, we'll get the studio to do that.
Any more for you guys? Yeah. I got a question. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Do you still have that orange shirt and that belt buckle?
As a matter of fact, it's framed. I put it in a closet.
It cost a lot of money. You never gave it back to us. You know, I will say this. When I don't know if anybody knows some of my background. I started writing animation. I did Scooby-Doo's. I wrote cartoons, and then I got into live action. I did, like, you know, Fall Guy and A-Team and Knight Rider and all those shows. And then about 1990, I said I want to direct, so I wrote Leprechaun. But I said originally, I made it like a Scooby-Doo, because there were a lot of colors. The orange shirt, even the kitchen, we built the kitchen in a soundstage in Santa Clarita. And if you notice, it was blue and yellow. So there was a lot of colors in it. And we watched a Blu-ray version, you know, it was shot in 35 millimeter. We watched a Blu-ray, which actually looked pretty good, but if they had the original print, which I actually have in my office somewhere, it was very vivid and colorful, and it kind of like a cartoon. So that's where the colors came from. Even Mark Holton, who played Francis in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, who played Ozzy, and worked on a show I did called Superboy, and that's where I found him. His shirt had paintbrushes on it. His red shirt had like paintbrushes, and that was all planned to make it kind of a cartoon. So I thought it was interesting.
Since you did Scooby-Doo,
Yes.
have you heard, or if you have, what do you think of the Scooby-Doo crossover with Supernatural?
I haven't heard that, actually. They're doing that? Is Supernatural without Warner Brothers, and Scooby-Doo was bought by Hanna-Barbera, which did Scooby-Doo. The library was bought by Warner Brothers. I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Supernatural is going into Scooby-Doo, and it's going to be animated.
I think that's great. I think that's great. You know, after Leprechaun came out in '93, I was called by Hanna-Barbera at the time to do a Scooby-Doo live-action movie, because they said, you know, we want to do, and you know animation, and you've also done live-action, and I actually developed a script, and then the regime went out, and it faded away, and then they finally did the Scooby-Doo movie 10 years later.
Yeah, any part of your original script used for that?
No, I want to say yes, so they'll have to pay me, but no, nothing. Not a word. Yeah. Well, I don't know. You know, might have been better that they didn't use anything I wrote. Well, you know, when they did Leprechaun 7 and called Leprechaun Origins, they said it's going to be the reboot of the 1993 starring Jennifer Aniston. And my attorneys, of course, because I have ownership of all the movies, and I have good ownership. And we said, well, you know, that's okay, he's fine with that, but why don't you really do a reboot? They go, no, we're going to use a different guy, we're going to make it horror, and we're not going to have the comedy. And then they go, but you know what, maybe it's really not anything to do. It's being worked out, but I said, let's reboot it, and let's get Warwick, and let's kind of do it. Yeah, I said, and then bring Mark Holton back, and bring John back, bring everybody back, and we could do it. And I said, your audience will like it better. They go, no, this one's going to kill. And I heard it didn't do well at all. Leprechaun Origins didn't do well. Because they said it's not Leprechaun. You know, it is what it is, but it wasn't Leprechaun. So, yes. So so just go on the internet and tell Lionsgate that they need to do the original with Mark Jones. And I could probably get Jennifer to come back and do at least a cameo. She hates me.
So what were the pitches for the Leprechaun movies that never got made? Like, was time travel ever on the table? Was it special, or?
Well, when you say pitches, I know Warwick wanted to do Pirates. He talked to me about that. You know, going in the gold. I don't know what was pitched and what wasn't pitched. You know, the studios come up with everything all the time, and you never know. So I know that what was made was what Trimark did and then Lionsgate did. You know, I know that they found, you know, they did Leprechaun in the Hood and Back to the Hood. They went that direction, which I liked, actually. I thought, you know, it's interesting. I don't know. I really can't answer that one. I don't know what was pitched. Yes.
This guy first. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It seems like Sci-Fi Wire just announced today that they're going to be making a Leprechaun Returns. Are you involved with that at all?
Well, that's very funny. David Price, who was one of the producers on Leprechaun, he and I are good friends. He wrote and directed Children of the Corn 2, Dr. Jekyll, Miss Hyde. David's a director, and we're working on projects together. He just told me about that today. And I didn't know, and then he said, go on the as I was driving here, he said, go on the Sci-Fi, I wasn't driving, but I was being driven, but go on the Sci-Fi website, and they're saying it's the Leprechaun Returns, And he said, aren't you involved in that? So it's the first I've heard of it. I have to look it up. Yes, I mean, you know, the Writers Guild, it was a Writers Guild movie. They cover you, but studios constantly try to get out of, you know, claiming things are what they should be when, you know, because they say they shouldn't be there. So I'm going to look into that. But yes, if it's a reboot, and you know, see, I don't own Leprechaun. Anybody can make a Leprechaun movie, but the idea is if you make a movie that implies that it's part of the Leprechaun movie that people know, then you can't do that. So it's a lot of legal stuff. My attorneys are constantly sending letters to Lionsgate, and they're sending letters back. So that's a legal thing, but. You know, I think they should just, you know, say, hey, Mark, why don't you make one?
The Aussie character is in it, apparently, so it's definitely your...
Well, then I'll get paid. I'll get paid at least through the Writers Guild. The Writers Guild is great. They send checks all the time. So yeah, that, but, you know, I mean, with the ownership, they're going to claim, well, we'll pay you for the character, but we won't pay you for the sequel, and, you know. It's okay. But Leprechaun was good to me, so I'm not really complaining. But
all right, real last one. I saw another hand somewhere. Oh, you got it? Okay. Okay, this guy is standing up. Last one.
Did any research go into making up the rules of the movie and how a leprechaun operates, what kills them and all that? How did you come up with that? And what was the research like for the film?
You know, I'm glad you asked the question because I always thought, you know, a wooden stake and a vampire and all the other things, you know, mirrors, and I said, the only way you can kill a vampire is with a four-leaf clover. And I made that up. But it's now become sort of part of mythology, and they changed it in number 2 and 3, and Trimark, one of them, I think number 3 was wrought iron, which has some history with a leprechaun. I said, guys, a four-leaf clover is the only way you can kill a leprechaun, just like a wooden spike. I said, keep it going. So, no, I didn't do any research. I made it up. But I thought it was good, so they should have kept it. So.
Guys, feel free to return to the bar. They got the Leprechaun drink special, so stick around. It's St. Patty's Day.